Hey everyone, it's the Life Doctor here, and I hope that your Saturday is shaping up to be a wonderful day for you so far. I wanted to come to you today and just talk with you a little bit about resentment. Resentment is something that a lot of people deal with, a lot of people are struggling with, particularly in relationships and marriages. And so I wanted to just share with you from my heart some things that I think might be helpful if this is something that you are struggling with. And, a lot of the times when I share these different topics with you, whether it's, with weight loss or healthy lifestyle or something pertaining to a relationship, it's because that's what I am either going through or it's something that I have dealt with in the past, and either I'm overcoming or have overcome. So it's just me sharing from my heart. And so for me, resentment is something that I have struggled with in the past, just being honest, and that the Lord continues to work on. With me in my life and in my relationships. And so basically, resentment is an unwillingness to forgive, deciding that I'm not going to forgive, an unwillingness to bury the hatchet and basically let bygones be bygones. That's what resentment is. And of course, you've probably heard the saying, unforgiveness or resentment, which sometimes is used interchangeably, but it's kind of like drinking poison but expecting the other person to die. Well, of course, that's ludicrous. It's ludicrous only when we think about it. But if you are the one doing the resenting, holding on to those feelings makes sense to you. Holding on to those feelings are justified. And there are primarily three basic reasons why people tend to be resentful or hold on to resentment. Number one, people tend to be resentful if they feel like the other person or other persons in their lives, whoever they're in a relationship with, has done something to them. So people tend to be resentful if they feel like someone has done something to them. The second reason why somebody would be resentful is because they feel like somebody has not done something for them. So they've abnegated some kind of responsibility, something that they should have done, they did not do. And then the third reason why people tend to be resentful is because they feel like the person in their life has not done enough. So those are the three reasons why people tend to be resentful. And I want to share three ways that you can kind of begin to get out of that resentment space, because it's really not healthy. And I think we all know that it's not healthy, but yet and still we struggle with this. And so the first thing, if you feel like you are dealing with resentment, is, well, first of all, acknowledging that you are dealing with resentment, because if you're not willing to face the reality of what it is you're dealing with, then obviously you're not going to make any progress from there. So just own up to it and admit to yourself that you are dealing with resentment, and look inward, look to yourself. A lot of times we deal with bitterness and resentment and unforgiveness. I'm kind of lumping that all together because there's something going on with us. So yes, there might have been a situation that was contributed to by another person, whether it's your spouse or a friend or somebody in your life. So they may have done something to contribute to an atmosphere that is conducive for resentment to grow. However, resentment is a choice. So look to yourself to see what is going on with you, whether it's an insecurity, whether you're holding particular thoughts about yourself, maybe you feel like you're not good enough, or whatever the case is. Look to yourself and figure out what is going on. What is the roots of this resentment? Because again, when we resent people, it is about us, not the other person. So the first thing is, get honest with yourself. Like, take ownership for your feelings. Like, admit that this is what's going on. That's number one. Number two is, make the decision to at least move in the direction of not being resentful anymore. Now, even though it is a choice whether you are resentful or not, it is not an easy choice to make if this is something that you are struggling with, to not be resentful. So it is much easier said than done, but at least make the decision to begin moving towards a willingness to let go of the resentment. And this can happen through maybe talking with the person that you're holding this grudge against, that you are resentful towards, if it's appropriate and if it's safe to do so. Or this may call for sitting down with a professional in therapy or counseling, a pastor, whoever, to kind of work through some deep-seated issues and kind of help you move towards a willingness, just a willingness to get to that place of no longer holding resentment. And then finally, number three, um, and this is so, so important. And again, it's easier said than done, but it works. Begin acting in a loving way towards this person. Now, for some of you who are holding on to resentment, the person that you are holding on the resentment to or for might not be living anymore. This could be a dead relative. It could be someone that has passed away, whatever. So for you, obviously, you will not be able to act lovingly towards this person. So for you, your process would probably stop at making the decision to move towards a willingness to let go of resentment, therapy, whatever the case is. But obviously, you're not going to have the opportunity to act in loving ways, towards this person. But for those who, have that opportunity, let's just say it's your spouse, act in loving ways towards that person. Do loving things. You might not feel loving towards that person. You might not feel like they deserve, your love and your affection, your kind deeds. But when we choose to forgive, when we choose to, not hold a debt over someone's head, it's not about what they deserve. Because certainly, when we ask God to forgive us, it's not because we deserve it. He doesn't forgive us because he deserves it, because we deserve it. He forgives us because he loves us. So it's a relationship thing. So we're not earning forgiveness from God, just like a person doesn't earn forgiveness from us. We do it as an act of grace, and that's what this is. And the whole notion of acting kind towards someone else, even if you don't feel it. This is, remember, working alongside your decision to take steps towards a willingness to let go of this resentment. So it's working in concert with that. And so when you begin to demonstrate these acts of kindness, when you begin to do these behaviors, that's going to, in time, help kind of change your feelings. Now, there's a whole notion of how we arrive at our behaviors and things like that. And typically, we think a certain way, and how we think impacts how we feel and what we do. But there is also another school of thought that says when we do certain things, that can impact how we think and how we feel. And so even if you don't feel it, your behaviors can help influence how you feel. And so once again, get real. uh Admit that you are dealing with resentment, that you're holding on to resentment, and figure out what's going on with you. Number two, make the decision to at least take steps towards a willingness to let go of the resentment. And then number three, act in loving ways if you are able to, if you have the opportunity. Act in loving ways towards the person that you are, having this resentment issue with. All right, so once again, this is the Life Doctor, and I hope that these tips have been helpful for you. I hope it blesses you. I hope it blesses somebody that you will share this with. Don't forget to rate this video and subscribe to my channel. I try to put out content that is relevant and important for you on a regular basis. So I just hope you have a wonderful day today and enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.